Hello and welcome back to Talking Smash, your destination for all things Smash interviews, Smash personalities. We're bringing out the personality of the biggest players in the world of Smash. I'm your host, ShyWay, and I'm excited to bring on our next individual. This man is one of the top players in Melee, ranked 13th on the MPGR, ranked first in New Jersey. I'm excited to bring on Swedish Delight. How's it going,
there.
man?
Hey, thanks for bringing me out here. Really good to be here. And I saw the other episodes of Talking Smash with Mike, and it's been pretty awesome.
Man, thank you so much, and thank you for on like the short notice still coming on and hanging out on the show. How you been? Are you busy where you are? Are you kind of relaxing? What have you been up to?
Oh yeah, for me, personal life has just been taking a huge deal on me. I'm not able to play Smash as much. I'm trying to do as much here as I can. But yeah, I just came from work. I do research like basically full time as a volunteer, and then I'm going to school actually
Oh my
in a
God.
few months. Yeah, and I had to figure out all that. That's been taking up so much of my time.
Oh no, and then that
But
on top of Smash too. Yeah.
yeah, and I just love though just like coming to shows like this, going to events like I met Cody at the ESI event, and when I heard about this show, I was like, yeah, I'd love to give my perspective on a lot of things about Smash because I think we just have such an amazing community that's unique and has a lot more potential than it has really shown even. So
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, one of the things I love about the Smash community is the personalities in the community are so unique. Like that's what drives the community. Of course, Smash Bros is an amazing game. Like Melee is a legendary title. It's still being played. But if it wasn't for your Mangoes and your M2K and Armada and all these individuals, like I don't think the game would be as popular as it is. There's just so much personality here. And the objective for me is to try to bring that out of you guys to share your stories and to share, excitement for some of these big moments that you've had in your career. So
yeah, especially we hear those players now, and I have to say, B2 King, who was from New Jersey, he's one of the reasons why I am in the position I am now, where he would not, of course, be a big online presence back then when esports in general wasn't as big, but he was there at every single New Jersey event, actually just like everywhere. And without him, just even as a local scene, it wouldn't be the same as today.
Yeah, man. I mean, and he's such a character too. Mewtwo King's like, and he's so invested. He's been so invested in the game for so long with like frame data on like Smash boards and everything, even before he became popular.
Right.
Now everybody's listening to him. But before, when he wasn't a good player, he was like that nerd who's super invested in all the data, and then all of a sudden he's destroying people.
Yeah, exactly. And he did that all by himself with just the controller and like his
Nuts.
gameplay, just, like playing with computers.
I think he beat on his
Pods at his
sister
own
or
time.
something. His younger sister, he would make her play with him, and he just combo her.
And we look at that, what they had to do like almost 15 years ago, and what we have now for technology. It's such a huge deal with Slippy, and I feel like the fact that we had so much passion in getting data then with B2 King and how much work he put in, and then now like we've went so far, and with Slippy and NetPlay and things like that, we can bring out like basically a new era of Smash, especially if we had something like a Dota buff, for example, for Smash. It would be so popular, and we have the tools now to do that.
Yeah, it's come so far in not even really that long, like a period of time, but just so many advancements, and it's great to see. And for you as well, you've come very far too, because today, like I said earlier, you're one of the top Melee players worldwide. You're ranked first in New Jersey. You're ranked 13th in the 2018 MPGR. You've taken sets off some of the best players in the game, like M2K, Leffen. I know you said it was Leffen's Falco, but I'm gonna still call that as a hard 3-0. Yeah, it was a good Falco, man. And Armada, and that's the big one because Armada had not been beaten by anybody outside of the top 6 in the last like 8 years. So where did it all begin for you? How did you first get into Melee? When did you start going to events?
Yeah, so for me, my journey through Smash is kind of weird. I didn't really want to play Smash as much because
it was
exactly it was my brother who really wanted to get into Smash, and I was in 8th grade. He was going to like senior year of high school, and he started looking at Smash boards. Like, wow, this place is like this game is awesome, and we used to play it all the time as we were little kids. Why don't we play it competitively? And he wanted to get good, so he went to get a GameCube because our first one broke. They're really fragile.
Are they? They look like sturdy bricks. Like you could
they
toss
are,
it up
but then it's just like
maybe the disc drive.
For us like little kids playing with it, and I was like, so it came out in 2001, and I was a dumb little middle schooler. I would just like throw things around, and I would like software problems, as in like I would take out the disk before it stopped spinning. I screwed it up like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So yeah, it wouldn't read my disk really well, and we didn't know how to take care of ourselves back then. And
Yeah.
so yeah, we got a new GameCube. Brawl was about to come out though, but he really wanted to get into this Melee hype,
Yeah.
and he made me play with him so that he could get better. But I just happened to be better in a lot of ways, and when he
He
brought me out
forces you in, and you reluctantly are like, okay,
yeah, I'm
fine,
just
I'll
kidding.
play. And then you bop this man who
Yeah,
wants to be.
I just happened to beat a lot of people from my town. I used to play Samus
Yeah.
back then.
Okay.
And, I went out to one of the tournaments in New Jersey. His name, what the tournament host was Eggum, and he's one of the legends of back in the day. He was like the most technical fox. Still
Okay.
is one of the most technical foxes from what I've seen when he
Mm.
comes out here. And he told me I had a lot of potential. We added each other on AOL Instant Messenger. He started giving me tips,
Wow.
and I loved it. And it was like our tournament was at an Italian restaurant that he worked at. It was in the Salerno's, like generic Italian restaurant name, and we just played in the back storage room, cleared it out. And just the fact that it was just like really cool that there are these older people in like college age and whatnot, and I was an 8th grade kid, and they wanted to play with me still. I really liked that experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still was like kind of reluctant to go to things because I wanted to play with my friends in other games like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and
Right.
Dota,
That was all the rage too at the time.
Dota 1. So it was just
Yeah.
like Smash was still a lot harder for me to play because those are online, of course.
Right.
But yeah, I just started getting good, and then I switched. My first tag was actually boy, just because I was a boy.
Okay.
So they just gave it to me on the spot. I didn't know I needed the tag. And then my second tag was Captain Jaime, but then I went to Revival of Melee, and this is still like a huge memory for me. This was me at high school, and I think this is 2008. And Alucard, who was a tournament host, one of the legendary tournament hosts back then, and he called my name Captain Jamie. I was like, no, I'm trying to make it a Hispanic sounding name. And so I had to change it, and we decided upon Swedish Delight when we were talking about Armada coming up and things like that. And once I did one good tournament at Swedish Delight, G Money was again on another New York legend, said like, I can't change at all because I have the results now. Can't change. Because I did pretty well. I think it was like Zenith 2012 or something.
Right,
Or
and then he's
2013. I forget which one exactly.
Yeah, and it just kind of locked it in, I guess.
Yeah. Once that happened, I was like, okay, I can't change, and I've been Swedish Delight since.
So wait a sec.
I was playing Fox and Falco back then when I still had those results.
Yeah, but so does that mean you just saw Armada from afar and you're like, look at this Swedish Delight over here? Like, how did you? Why Swedish Delight? You know, because isn't that like a Turkish candy or something?
Yeah, no. One of our friends, Curb, who's like the best Game & Watch player in the world, he's Turkish. We talked about Turkish Delight, and then that kind of merged together.
Oh.
But yeah, it was all there. It was a Turkish Delight influence to get that right there.
All right, so Armada knows that now he can know that it's because of his good looks that you saw. I'm kidding. This beautiful Swedish man. I'm kidding.
Man, when he came over, yeah, he looked pretty good. He was ready.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he looked, and his gameplay was insane too. So I mean, yeah, there you go. If that wasn't inspiring enough, so I guess you had a good tournament that locked it in, and then from there, your Swedish Delight. And I love that about the Smash community too, is you say your first event is the back of like an Italian restaurant. It's so grassroots. You go everywhere. You know what I mean? It's not just like an Italian restaurant. It's like somebody's basement. It's the back of a bar. Like in the local Toronto scene, it was the basement of a bar, the Shock's Billiards Lounge. We played there like all the time. It was every Wednesday thing. So yeah, I love that about the community as well. That must have felt good getting recognition in your first event from this guy Eggum, who was such a great player at the time.
Yeah, exactly. And I only played one match in pools, and then my mom had to go pick us up and was like, hey, we gotta go home now. So back then we had no schedules for events. People just played, and it was a lot less organized than now. But yeah, it was a really good experience.
So, and when was that? Was that back in I think it was back in 2008 that you
were... it was around 2007, 2008. I don't know exactly the timeline because I really wasn't, again, picking up Smash to play seriously. I was just going into high school. Didn't really mean much for anything else. Just happened to be able to play with friends.
Yeah, because there seems to be like in your wiki, it's a bit of a time skip. It's like you started in 2008, but then you really were going to tournaments in like 2012. There was like a 4-year jump where you're like, okay, now I'm a Sheik main. Now it's like you're starting to gain some prominence and you're getting better placements at
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And that's when I went to college, and that 2012 event, which I went Sheik, it was an NEC, so that was Northeast Championships, and that's
Okay.
a FGC tournament, which also FGC tournaments back then huge compared to Smash events. And like
Yeah.
I can see why the divide even started
Right.
FGC
Right.
and Smash. Like I was like playing in the hotel. No, they had the hotel ballroom. We were in like the side thing where like it was
Yeah.
basically a closet, but they had the hotel ballrooms back
Right.
then. And that
Right.
was such a amazing experience, and it was incredibly crowded, and no one cared. They
Yeah.
had a lot of passion. But yeah, that 2012 event, Eggum told me to go Sheik against Chillin' Dude because he liked my Sheik in doubles. Then I lose to Chillin 2-0, but then I beat Eggum that tournament as Sheik. So
Uh-huh.
then from then on, I try to play a lot more Sheik.
Right. And then, so when this Sheik gameplay really started to get noticed, I found was 2013, playing against Hacks, and this was before you were really like still really known. You beat Hacks in an upset, and just let's just listen to the very end of that. There's an audio bite that we'll show right here. Tony, you can throw it up.
Oh, nice. Good dodge. Good reaction. Yeah, Paxton, there it is. Oh! Hax says,
And Swedish Delight sends Hacks money to losers bracket.
Wow.
Wow.
Out of nowhere, Swedish Delight.
Okay.
Props to that dude. Wow, round of applause.
Wow. Good stuff.
That was really good stuff. Everyone now shaking Swedish Delight's hand. M2K with a smile on his face, too, shaking his hand. Wow.
All right, I'm going to...
All right, so what we'll do is play it up in the background now with no audio. If I think we're just restarting it in the background. Yeah, so I don't know if you noticed from the guy's mannerism, he's like, props to that dude. They had no idea who you were really back in 2013.
Oh my
like,
gosh,
not
yeah,
in that
was
in
that
that
D1
level.
back then? I didn't even know he
And that
was
was D1 back then. Yeah,
I didn't even know he was at the tournament. Oh my gosh, I had no idea what I was doing with Sheik back then.
Yeah, what was that like back in 2013? Like what was Smash to you at the time? Was it just a hobby, something you saw a future in? What did you think about it? Like you're beating Hacks, who was a really great player at the time, and they didn't even know who you were. Like,
yeah, exactly. I played Hacks before, back when I was a Fox main, and I really like that. Oh, I wish that was a recorded set too. Back when sets were barely recorded, and that was at another Eggum Italian restaurant tournament. Actually, Armada went to that event, I think, with Hacks there. Nice. That was before in Apex, and he beat me with Fox. So, and I always heard that Hacks was a Sheik Slayer. And game 2 of the set, I actually go Falco still, who was my main, and I still lose. I just don't know what happened with these first and third games. And he just wasn't as ready as I was at the time. And then I just end up losing to Cactuar right after this, because this was so early on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I faced Hacks again in losers, but this time he was a lot more ready. He was still one of the best players in the world back then. Yeah. But the fact that I got a winner set really showed me, like, wow, I should really actually just play Sheik from now on. Even though Hacks would only lose to Mewtwo King's Sheik, basically. It wasn't any other Sheik he would lose to.
Right. So you kind of started a bit of a revolution there. And Tony, you can switch off of it right now. We'll continue. Yeah, without. But and that's the thing is that, and then Hack started to maybe lose a little faith in the Captain Falcon. He had to switch over to Fox. So I wonder if you helped ignite that a little bit too. But it's unfortunate because his Falcon was so sick. Like,
oh my gosh! You know, I actually did not even think about that, but you're probably right.
he triple kneed you in that set. Like he lost. Actually, it might have been the set after.
Loser set.
It was a loser. Okay, it was a loser. Yeah, nuts. Even back. I mean, that's 2013. But the guy was he was insane at Falcon.
Yeah, and my Sheik has definitely just like retired characters and retired people.
Oh yeah.
Time to time, yeah. Like I joke around like, oh yeah, I made Armada retire quicker.
Oh my god.
I actually retired Pleb Samus.
Oh no.
And then I guess I quickened the pace for Hax's retirement. Too. He was always thinking about it.
Yeah.
He always had the Fox, and then he brought it out eventually, like full time in 2014 Apex, I think, when we faced off. And I was still like, are you gonna go Fox? Or are you not gonna go Fox? Because he was still switching off for some matchups, like a bait at Zenith 2013. He went Falcon still.
Interesting.
And then it was always on and off until 2014 Apex, which was a jam. So I probably sped that up a little bit. You probably got it ready for that event.
Your list of accolades are not the accomplishments that you've gained, like the awards. It's the people that you've made retire or encouraged retirement.
I definitely did that, and it's been like Apexes and things like that.
Yeah.
Tournaments. So Plup was one of my first big wins too in Apex 2015, and he went Samus. I beat that, and then he just immediately went to Sheik. Losers, but lost.
See, I'm salty now because I love Plup Samus, dude. That was so awesome too. Because like the diversity in character selection, the fact that he was so good at Samus. I know we have like Hugo and stuff like that, but still, like he was like doing some revolutionary stuff with Samus.
Oh, for sure. His Samus is still insanely good. It's just that Sheik is such a good character for him.
It doesn't make sense. Pick it.
He's actually just so good with Sheik too that it makes so much more sense the way he wanted to play.
So continuing on a bit here, so like your first events, they all took place in the tri-state area for the most part, but eventually you started traveling out to more major events like the Big House 5, for example, where you put up a strong showing, landing 13th place, defeating West Balls in a big upset at the time. And then at the time, and we'll show it in the background here as well, I think you were in university at the time or college. You were deciding whether or not you wanted to work in the medical field. This was before you had a sponsor. That was like in 2016. Like what was your mind state? Like what was kind of going on at this time when you're upsetting West Balls? You got a lot going on in the background.
Yeah. So even before this Big House, this was my senior year of college, and otherwise the only tournaments I went to again were tri-state tournaments. But I had a really awesome spoiled time in tri-state with Apex as the biggest event in Smash, and then I had Zeniths also, which are some of the best international tournaments too, or not international but national ones. For example, 2012 PP was there, won. 2013, Hummybox and Mango was there. Mango won that one, I believe.
Right.
And other than that, I went to Evo's just because, hey, it's Evo, it's Vegas.
Yeah.
And it was a lot worse than I was in 21, but I still went. And so in 2014, when I was in junior year, I went to Badman Rising for spring break. Which was really awesome. That was my first like actual travel. And then I went to FC Return. But then it wasn't really like an actual type of, I'm going to travel to compete.
How are you getting there, by the way? Are you driving out there? How it was?
Yeah, back then I was driving. So I drove to Badman Rising, and then for FC Return, which is an amazing tournament, Leffen, well, that's one of the first times I met Leffen, and that's when I realized, oh, he's actually a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, he puts on a bit of a facade or whatever.
That was his domination time. I think FC Return was one of the best tournaments ever to see Leffen play. Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
2015 Leffen is still some of my favorite melee. And I went to that because we wanted to go to Cedar Point for vacation. So me, Nintendo, and my brother, we went to Cedar Point. So it wasn't really like a tournament experience, more so as a vacation again. But Big House was the first time I really decided I want to come out and compete. And after going to those tournaments and getting pretty good results and just getting better and better, I was like, oh, let's see what I could do. So Big House is the first time I really traveled for something.
Right.
Solely to compete. I started practicing like a few minutes a day, just like for tech skill and making sure I can move.
A few minutes a day, he says.
That's all you really need.
I know, but I can't do that. That's like the hack.
I just put on the timer, and as long as I used my brain and knew what to do, then it was fine.
You Sheik mains have it easy, man. I swear.
No, now I can't do that. Sheik is way too fast these days.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing a lot worse because Sheik is way too fast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was a huge event.
Big House 5 was a great event. It was so fun. And yeah, I beat Wes. I popped off, and then it was super cool.
So Tony, we'll switch off of that one.
And then, after that showing, I wanted to run for Summit 1, which no one had any idea what was going on with Summit back then.
Yeah.
I definitely was one of the underdogs to get in because I didn't even, now that we're talking about this and looking back with Westball's already having a Tempo Storm sponsor.
Right, I know.
Wow, these guys were huge back then. And I wasn't. So I'm still playing catch up with in terms of them like really taking Smash.
Yeah,
I'm still kind of a new school player then, even though I've been playing for a while. I didn't really take it as a competitive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like some of your first big events are 2013. I mean, I'd say that's still pretty recent as far as like some of the OG players in the Smash community goes. They start all the way back in like 2006, 2008, whatever it is. Um, but yeah, I didn't even consider talking about Summit too much either. But that's another amazing aspect of Smash Bros. That I think like every gaming community, like because I come from Halo as well. Halo absolutely
Oh,
Summit like so badly. Just having a house where all the big personalities play together and they get grind time and they get like fun events like Mafia stuff like that. It was so sick. Yeah. But yeah, continuing on though, another big event for you. Actually, no, before we go there, it turns out that you're not just good at singles, you're good at doubles as well. One of the low-key greatest double teams of all time, I'd say, is in Melees, is you and Slox. And we'll roll some footage in the background of Genesis 3. This is where you defeated Hbox and Axe. The first time that you defeated them back to back. The first time you did it, they looked so upset. Like Hbox looked so mad after. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah, this definitely was one of my favorite tournaments ever. Genesis 3 was actually insanely good. And like the crew battle was even cool. Me and I was on Hbox's team and we won that. Then doubles happened and that was such an amazing experience. And Hbox and Axe just came off a huge win at DreamHack Winter, the very first Smash DreamHack event. So just beating them here in winners was super awesome, and then beating them in losers also felt really good. And then we also just got spanked by better teams, which was Me2 King Armada and PewFat. But that's when I was like, wow, teams is so fun. And me and Tony, or Slox, I didn't really know Slox that well back then. We would play at locals in New York City and New Jersey, and I just thought like, hey, I think we'd be really good if we teamed together. So we should do this for Genesis. So we played a local, we won that. And then this is basically like our second tournament. And what I think really works well for us is that even though we're kind of inconsistent sometimes, it's just the fact that we would be able to talk each other and just play based on what we planned. And the fact that we could stick to a game plan and just say, hey, let's trust each other and do these things. That's all we really needed to make sure that we were in sync and we could beat other teams that just happened to have better individual players at the time.
So you're saying like you guys hadn't played together that much prior, like you just kind of, there was a natural kind of, it just worked, like you'd make a game plan, you'd stick to it?
Yeah, basically. And before that, I was teaming with my brother more often than not.
Okay.
We basically teamed at almost every event for like 5 years, and then afterwards I didn't really play as much. I just team with whoever was at the event that I liked.
Right.
And it really worked out well for me too, because the only way me and my friends back at home could play with each other, we only had one TV and a setup, and we would just have to play doubles together.
Yes.
So I just happened to play doubles for so much. I loved it a lot just because I actually played more doubles than singles because of that. We had that limitation.
Yeah.
And I just happened to get really good at it, I think. And I wish I could play more doubles all the time. This is the only time I actually like pop off now too and have like real emotion in the game. I think so. I just love doubles so much. But it's not taken as it's a lot of energy, and singles is more important most of the time. So
right.
That's one of the sad parts. I can't play as much as I would like.
But I feel like doubles, I mean, depending on how seriously you take it, it's a little less pressure as well because you got your teammate you're working with, a little more frantic. I feel like that's just an area where you could have more fun and you get totally like wild things that happen that you would never see in singles. Like, I mean, what do you think of like Armada Android, the insane team combos that they were doing? They were like creating a meta for doubles that was like unheard of when they had started, those team combos.
Oh man, yeah, I think some of the best hype moments were like some of those doubles combos that I can remember.
Yeah.
Of course, like people know Smash for Wombo combo, right? And then that's how everyone knew Smash. Like every esport knew Smash because of Wombo combo. That's teams.
Yeah.
Like you don't get that experience in singles. The only other like singles experience I really know, like where people really thought like, wow, this was an insane moment in Smash history. Maybe like Evo 2016 with Hungrybox Armada in Grand Finals. I could like see some of the Sox play out there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, nothing as real hype and like earth-shattering as teams combo, such as Mama combo.
Yeah.
And there's so many comebacks too that Armada has made. It's just so cool to have teams. It's just, and PewFat also just
they're so good. Yeah.
Dominating now, and Club Me2 ranking also as being one of the best teams. There's so much like history and storyline with doubles that we're not able to take advantage of.
Yes,
Because of the singles going on right now. It's kind of sad, but maybe one day. The fact that Fuse season 2 did not work out as planned, that really put a hamper on doubles a lot.
Right.
And especially with the Fuse season 1 ending the way it did, it was like kind of just like, oh, we had to finish it somehow.
Yeah.
It really, even though it was great matches, it just happened to be played at the Smash GG house after Evo. And it's just like, oh, we really wanted it to be something more of a spotlight for teams. It couldn't really take off like that. It really needs a lot more effort again, because it is really hard to follow along, and it is hard to.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, but in the end, I think doubles is a lot more straightforward. It's like because you can only do so much at once. Because there's 4 people and you're playing on the same exact stage as singles.
Right.
Instead of 2 people, now you have 4 people, so you have a lot less space to work with. So I think it's actually simpler than singles.
Yeah, like set strategies actually work better because of the way that like there's so much more going on the stage, right?
Right, exactly. You're actually like more limited because of how many people there are now.
Right, exactly. So you have a role. You have more of a specific role than you would in singles, where it's more malleable. Like it kind of.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like in other like for MOBAs, you have like mid, solo.
Exactly.
Mid. You have dual lanes and tri lanes. Like those are played so differently, but I feel like a solo mid is one of the most flexible in a way. And if you have a tri lane, you have one strategy. You're just trying to dominate as hard as you can at first. It's like simple like that.
Yeah.
That people have to take a different perspective.
Okay. Sorry to cut you off here. Tony, all right. He's telling me my mic is even louder. First of all, apparently my mic's too loud. I'm getting too excited here. And now he's telling me it's even louder. So what am I doing wrong, man? I'm turning the gain dial, and I'm assuming gain is it better now? You just got to message me. Or maybe Swedish raise your audio, and we'll just yell at each other.
Maybe. I haven't dealt with Skype in so long for the mic setting.
It sucks changing it because I've had it on a static setting for like a year now. I haven't touched the dial.
I'm just gonna put it a little bit closer, even more. I think that might help.
Turn yours back? What the fuck? What are you trying to do? I don't know. Hopefully that's reasonable. Just keep messaging me, Tony. I'll be looking. By the way, guys, I'll take this convenient opportunity to say that if there is anybody in the chat who is watching and enjoying the interview, feel free to type questions of your own in the chat as well. We will be having a short Q&A at the end of the show. So any creative questions that you have for Swedish Delight, feel free to drop those in the chat, and let's keep the conversation going. We're getting excited about doubles. Now let's move on with your career a little bit here too, because another big event for you was Smash and Splash 2. And this one was pretty crazy because you defeated M2K not once, but twice in the Sheik matchup. And then you went on to play Luigi in Grand Finals versus HBox. And we're going to play a bit of the Grand Finals with Luigi in the background here. There you are with your lovely hula, like whatever it is.
Every Smash and Splash, they give that one of the cool parts.
Yeah.
Smash Splash is just the flavor of that.
Well, let's start by talking about M2K a bit, because I know that M2K doesn't like the chain grab in the Sheik matchup, but you're more all about just anything goes. What happens when you guys pre Sheik Ditto? What do you guys talk about?
Right. So again, Mewtwo King was part of New Jersey for so long, and we've played the Sheik Ditto so many times before that. We've done no chain grab, we've done chain grab, and he says he's fine with anything. And at that point, it was really just a moment of like trying to get into his head of like, oh, and what I was used to from other players in New Jersey and other places, like, okay, I have to play the chain grab, so I might as well just practice the chain grab before doing anything else.
Right.
And I happened to win in winners for that. Oh man, I'm getting destroyed by.
Oh yeah, my bad, dude.
That's why I stopped playing Luigi. After I took a game, I'm just like, oh my god, this is impossible.
I totally just grabbed the set just to grab it. I didn't even watch. I was like, "Oh, Luigi versus Jigglypuff. This is cool." I didn't.
I got destroyed. Yeah, he like I had to figure that out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Well, what do you do, right? Because like, so
once he crouches, I'm just like, I don't know what to do.
Oh yeah, he dodges your grab and then just completely destroys you. And I mean, like the advantage maybe like or Luigi's super floaty, and he's like he's difficult to get your hands on maybe, and that might.
Yeah, he hits me once, and then I just stay in the air, and he. Like 5 times. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like if you had gone Sheik instead, that would have been like almost like equally difficult, though. It's I don't think there are many Sheiks who have
Right,
taken. I think Plutt maybe took a game off, and they played so much before that happened too.
right,
Like they have,
right. Club has
yes,
taken him one set local before this. And
yeah,
in 2016, I had the most unfortunate luck in brackets. I could have done so much better, I think, in tournaments because when Hungrybox entered 2016, he was top 5 in the world. He was the gatekeeper of the gods. He would always get fifth. He'd almost be there.
right,
Um, and then now he starts like going on a dominating streak of first place
yeah,
victories, and I was at those same tournaments,
yeah,
and I would always run into him because like his seating would get better, and then my seating would get better. We'd still just end up in the same place where I'd play him, and then later in 2016, I do take him to like Game 5 last lock with Sheik a couple of times. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm closer and closer each time, but I keep on running into Hungrybox. And just because like our seedings both happen to get better at the same time.
right,
And it was really hard back then, but yeah, it was a good learning experience too, because Hungrybox undoubtedly is the best player in the world now. And
yeah,
going on to his 3rd year in a row being the best player in the world, so it's insane. But yeah, that tournament Smash and Slash 2 was the first time I beat Mewtwo King. First and only time I beat Mewtwo King, because he just dominated me otherwise in the Sheik duos that we played.
right.
And after this in Evo 2016, he beat me in winners, even though it was a chain grab. He played a lot different and actually tilted me more. And if I went for the no chain grab, I probably would have done better back then.
Wow.
At that specific tournament.
I like that he came right back. He studied that, eh? Like he lost you, and he's like, "No way, it's not happening
Yeah,
again."
exactly. He would complain about it. You would hear him complain about it after he lost, but he's
Right.
actually the one that is just like, I'm okay with anything.
Yeah.
Like we'll be fine.
If
And
anything,
just like
you
when
think he'd be the
once
guy.
he loses, then he's
Yeah.
like, of course he's gonna be mad either way.
Yeah.
He's gonna like, oh, I wish I went the other way. What if I, like, who knows what would happen if I did the other thing?
Right. Right.
And then he just never developed that far enough. And in the end, afterwards, like 2017 on, he wouldn't chain grab Plup, and then he started losing the no chain grab. So he's always like in the back of his mind, should I chain grab? And then he never does.
This is the dilemma for Sheik.
Then against the Juan Shroom, he would get really close with the no chain grab. So he's like, no, I can't do this. I'm going to chain grab you now. And then Dewan is so bad at the chain grab and Sheik Dittos that there's no reason not to chain grab him. And he just completely loses then when Mewtwo King chain grabs. So Mewtwo King in chain grabs, he always paints it in one way, and he always has a loud voice at the time of.
Right.
But then you just have to look back at what he's saying, and he is actually really reasonable. It's just he gets emotional at those moments, and people point to one anecdote, but Mewtwo King's been there for like 10 plus years playing Sheik Ditto, so it's like really have to, and especially with me living in the same state as him, like we've been through this so many times beforehand, and either way he ended up just beating me overall afterwards too. So chain grab or no chain grab, it's not that much of a difference between me and him, at least.
Right.
But yeah, it's just like an arbitrary thing that we think like, oh yeah, it'll be more fun if we do it this way.
Do you like the matchup at all, though? It just looks like a tilting matchup. Like, no thanks. Like, I wouldn't want a Sheik Ditto if I was a Sheik main.
I would. I definitely feel that way now. In a way, I'm like, gosh, Sheik is really hard to play against because Sheik is such a good character. I'm like, wow, I wish I just won this matchup.
Yeah.
Ditto, obviously. Yeah. And I still do really well in the matchup, and I think it's just because I played a lot. Like even at this recent this last big house in 2018, I beat Plup in the Sheik Ditto without the chain grab, and he's like, I'm not doing this anymore. He just goes Fox and beats me, and so like I just happen to be good at it, and that's the only reason why I'm like okay with playing it. Is eventually I feel like I'm playing bad at times, and I still win just because I have so much experience with Mewtwo.
Damn. Yeah.
Back then, and I only lost like one other Sheik Ditto other than Mewtwo King Plup, and actually I didn't. I never played the Sheik Ditto with Plup. I've only lost one other Sheik Ditto, and that was with Kirby Kaze in like.
Oh yeah, he was so good.
Yeah, when he came back to play, and then he
disappeared for
really hard. He was just like ruthless chain grab. When Kirby Kaze used to be the no chain grabber, and just like he was the stylish one, and
he's kind of like Canada's Mewtwo King. He was kind of like our Mewtwo.
Yeah, I love David. He has been such a good friend and like mentor for Sheik for so long, and he still is actually. We have a Sheik group chat.
Definitely.
Discord, whatever Facebook group. There's so many resources, and he still participates in them. And yeah, he was just ruthless when he came back in 2016 trying to play seriously. Like, oh, okay, I'm not ready for this. And then I beat him later, but like that tournament, he just 3-0'd me quick. I'm like, all right.
Oh my god,
I can't. He was just
back with a vengeance.
Yeah, he was overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right, better next.
Back to HBox real quick though. Would you say he's like the most challenging competitor for you? I mean, now he is definitively the best in the world, but as far as your matchups go, was he the toughest?
Yeah, I think now, I think he's the only player I would say that even if I played my best and consistent all the time, I would still lose to. I think every single player I've played against recently in all my losses, it's more like outside factors or like I'm inconsistent a few times when I shouldn't have been.
Right.
But that's like, of course, tournament play and like pressure, of course, is a tournament factor. But like I've gotten close to beating Leffen. I still get close to beating SFAT, who I've historically always lost to. I feel like I could have beaten Plup also at Big House, but I didn't get like good sleep and things like that. And when I analyze my sets, it's like, shoot, I was just like really slow this one time when I usually not. But only Hungrybox, I would feel like I would just keep on losing because I don't know exactly what to do with that character.
Wow.
I'm still learning it now. And like this past weekend, I like lose to Snowy for the first time, like just as a Jigglypuff. I usually am really good at that matchup unless I'm it's at like a local or something. I have a full day of work. And in nationals, I've never lost to a Jigglypuff except for Hungrybox. And he just did like this one strategy that Hungrybox does, and I was like, can I find a fun way to beat this? And I just tried like 5 different times, and I just get destroyed each time. I'm like, okay, I guess. Yeah, and then I just get destroyed each time I do it. I'm like, so there's actually like I just lose if I try to do anything against that strategy.
I like how you say, is there a fun way? There's never like a fun way to beat him. You got to play like a specific style that you may not want to play just so you could get the win. Like you got to, you know.
Is there like a fun, engaging way? That's why Plup doesn't play the Sheik matchup. You have to be like really patient in this one thing. And that's just because Jigglypuff beats Sheik in that.
Puff's ability to be patient is even greater. Like they can
they get a lot more off of it. So it's just like I try to find a way. Like, can I find a way to enjoy playing this strategy right now? Dude. And then I'm like, okay, no, I just lose. So I figured out then. So better to figure out at a regional, local, than a national against Hungrybox, I would say.
And it doesn't really help that HBox's Puff is just so much better than every other Puff, it seems.
Right. He's
miles above.
Such a smart player, too. People underestimate just how smart and...
Because they don't understand Melee, though, too. Like, yes, I understand how he slows down the game, and it's, like, less exciting to watch him play, and I agree, it is less exciting, but when you actually understand what he's doing, you appreciate it. Like,
exactly.
He's insane.
I still think that Hungrybox, the reason why he loses games is just to keep it more interesting for himself. And then when I see him play well, I'm like, why didn't he just do this the first time? At Pound 2019, I saw him play in losers. I'm like, I see him at the last stock situations, and then he just destroys them. I'm just like, he literally could have done this every other time. I don't see how people are taking stocks from him if he just did this way. Because when he played that way, he did not lose a stock ever. Like when he goes like full on, like quote unquote clutch box, I don't think he's clutch actually. I think he just wasn't trying until then. So at this point, it's just like, oh, geez, he's so much better than us. So.
Interesting. Let's switch gears over to another god of Melee, Armada, because then came EVO 2018, and this was one of the most important sets in your career, being the first person outside of the top 6 to defeat Armada in over 8 years, or around 8 years. I'm not sure the exact time frame, but there's a YouTube video about this. It's titled "Melee's Biggest Upset?" ? And there's a clip in the video that kind of just showcases the gravity of your accomplishment here. Let's show the clip, Tony.
Than Armada truly is. So let's take a look at individual losses to players. You've probably already heard the fact being thrown around that Armada's last loss to someone outside the top 6 was in 2010 to Amza at Pound 4. And this fact alone is impressive enough, but for a point of reference, let's look at all of the top 6's losses from the year after that up until today. And for sure there'll be some contention about wins included or not included on this graphic, but it's more to paint a general picture than to talk about individual sets. So around the same level of consistency, we have Hungrybox and Mango, who faltered a bit over the last 7 years, but generally don't lose to players outside the top 6. Then we have Mutaking, who's only slightly behind Mango and Hungrybox, but is definitely more well known for taking some out of the blue losses. And then pulling up the rear, we have Plup and Leffen, who are still rising to prominence during the early part of this time period, so it only makes sense for them to have more losses. And then we have Armada. Just a single name on his list. 7 years and only 1 loss, not to the other 5 players listed here. And on top of that, the first time he's ever lost to Plup was in late 2017 at the Big House 7. Armada is an absolutely incredible competitor for keeping this streak up, and Swedish Delight is even more impressive for being the one to shatter it. So what does this mean for Armada moving forward? Are we going to be seeing more and more players lower their Armada numbers to 1? I really don't think so. There's a reason this streak has been held up for so long, and not to take anything away from Swedish's win, but Evo being a best of 3 definitely played a part in being able to pull this off. But I do think this, Wizro winning Optic Arena over HBox, and Zane getting 3rd at Summit are just a couple of the signs that the era of the untouchable top 6 is coming to a close. And 17 years into Melee's history, we may be moving into one of the most exciting eras where any upset is possible. And that's about it for this video. This is only a short little video because I wanted to put out something to unpack Evo a bit before we jump right into SmashCon this weekend. I also want to thank you guys a ton for
we're watching the whole video. I just wanted to show that one little clip, guys.
Oh,
that
we got to see Lovage and Leffen. That was pretty good.
Yeah. But that one chart there, that's just unbelievable. Just the gravity of that is that there's one name in 7 years, and that's your name. And big shout out to Save As Untitled. That's his clip from his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Go check out Save As
awesome.
Untitled. Yeah, some great content. But yeah, man, tell me about that victory. Like, how did you feel about that at the time? Like, I'm sure you didn't fully realize like just what you had done. But it also was a best of 3 as well. I know maybe that factored in. Video reply, kind of talking about your reasoning behind like what you thought about the set.
Right, and it was best of 3, but I don't think that best of 3 actually.
Oh, unfortunate pause right there. I don't know if you guys see the position of that freeze. All right, they're snapping back to me. We'll try to grab him back into the call. Sorry about that, guys. This is the Skype issue with them. There you are, back.
Skype just completely crashed.
Yeah, Skype is yes. And then apparently you got on. Yeah.
Too. Okay.
Right,
yeah. So
not the best of 3 so much.
Yeah. So yeah, I was talking about my match with Armada, and I actually made like a quick YouTube video about this. I started uploading videos during my last Summit run. When I started like being really consistent and good for a bit until I got back, and then life things happened and injuries. But yeah, it was a lot of like outside factors that helped me with my Armada win. It was like a lot of preparation, and day of the event, I had a lot of support going in. So for example, Red Bull, just the fact that they had a Red Bull tent, and I was a player of OG, so then. All the people from Red Bull just like were supporting us so much at the event, and then I had like my own manager, Kaylin, who helped me like through logistics throughout the day, making sure like, hey, you're going up at this time, like, hey, you need to warm up. Wow. And just having people there, and if you go to Evo, it's such a huge area, and it's really overwhelming, especially now with how big Evo has gotten. Yeah. And because I had that support and just a bunch of people helping me out throughout the day, I think I prepared better for that match than Armada did. And he was playing Peach, he said, for preparation for Mango afterwards. And I was just thinking, like, I think his Peach is way harder than his Fox, because we played for years, long time. And I haven't taken a game from his Peach ever. And I got 4-stocked by his Peach. I don't really get 4-stocked by his Fox even in friendlies. I have like the same win rate.
Right, and you talked about that in the video, that like his Peach consistently was beating you.
Right, and that was the first time I took a game off of his Peach.
And then it shook him. You shook him
just
all
switched,
of a sudden.
And
yeah.
I was like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
Well, okay, he's going Fox Stadium, and it's not like he like took the first 2 stocks, and then I almost won that game because I started catching up. I just wasn't as ready as him to switch. And then game 3, I just basically had the lead most of the time, and I was just like, okay, yeah, this was just another Fox Yoshi's game, and he's good, but there were some things he was not clean compared to other Foxes that would have beaten me in that game than he was. So I was just like, okay, like, and the win meant a lot more to me afterwards. Of course, I could say, yeah, I just beat Armada.
Yeah.
Like that. I still had to focus on the rest of the tournament. I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna lose to SFAT next because he was like beating Mango at that point. It was like game 1 was like, Mango won. The game 2, Zach won by like 3 stocks. I'm like, whoa, what the heck? SFAT's gonna beat Mango, and I had to play SFAT for top 8, and then Mango just destroys him too.
Jeez.
And then I was just worried about playing Mango at that point. But afterwards, it was just like such a huge win for me, and like people came up like, "Wow, like you beat Armada." I'm just like, I never even planned for it. I was just looking at my losers bracket before Armada, just I was thinking like, I'm not gonna beat Armada. I'm not gonna plan for this at all. Just, like,
I guarantee he didn't plan for it either.
Yeah, exactly.
Not see that coming. Somehow you shook him off of Peach though. That was like the big thing. Is like once you play him against Fox, it's kind of just like Armada's is an amazing Fox, but you know the matchup in and out. Like it's less scary the moment it switches over.
And he didn't prepare with his Fox.
Exactly. Yeah, he hadn't warmed it up much.
So because of that, because his lack of confidence in Peach, I think, like if he just stuck with Peach, I probably would have lost. I don't see myself taking 2 games against his Peach because I usually get 1 game off his Peach a day back then in friendly. So, it was still pretty cool that it happened. And again, it was like that evil pressure where it's like, oh, I got to make the switch just in case.
Right.
And I'm sure there's like, we could probably have some video at this point. If someone really wanted to take into account best of 3 upsets versus best of 5, I don't think it actually was like as big of a deal as people thought. They like have like perception bias, like, oh, this happened once. Of course, it's gonna be more happen. More
hard
often.
To say for sure.
I know they did a Smash 4 analysis of that. People talk about Smash 4 upsets happening all the time, and they saw that best of 5s did not like help that upset factor. In fact, it was like best of 5s they had more upsets.
Interesting. One thing's undeniable though, you were playing really well. So let's just go take a look at some of the gameplay. I've got a couple clips that I'm going to run here. These are some moments where you basically like 0 to death Armada. You did all the right things. You did amazing plays. The first one is against Peach in the first game, and these are going to have no audio on them. We're just going to play them over and over because I can't pause them. But I just wanted to. We'll both kind of point out some of the awesome things that you did. But you got a great grab there. He did a bad aerial on shield.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see. The jabs, and then watch the weight that you have here, which is beautiful. Back air, I love this, that you don't bite right. Hold on. You don't bite here. The biggest thing. And then you get the down tilt. Tell me a bit about this. What's going through your mind? Like you said in the past, you were a little too, you tried too hard to get the hit, and now you're like, or tell me about that, I guess.
Right, yeah. Like, for example, that down throw forward tilt there, it actually wasn't even like the most optimal thing to do. He just landed on the platform and shielded afterwards. But from the previous games against his Peach, I just realized like every single time I try to go and chase Armada down, it doesn't work.
Right.
So I really just made sure like I'm gonna get my hits, take them as they go, and even though it might not be much, for example, that down throw forward tilt, I'll eventually get more, and I happen to just outplay him and get more at those points. And it was awesome. It happened to be I didn't take anything in return.
I like the fair there, where you know that fair is not going to reach, so you purposely throw it out. And the objective is to get that forward tilt immediately after to stuff him with that. By throwing out the fair at that distance, you're encouraging that he comes in with his aerial, but you have the F tilt ready to stuff him. Like little things like that. These are just, if you're a Sheik player, you know this stuff in and out, but I feel like not everybody kind of sees that you would very strategically space that fair so that you can bring out that F tilt right after.
I didn't even realize that what you just said too, but it makes a lot of sense. What you said. I would not have mind hitting with that fair, but I think just the fact that I reacted in time, like, oh, he's still going back, but I missed the fair and he's going in now, I can throw out this forward tilt. Like if he just continued holding back, a forward tilt wouldn't have hit too.
Exactly.
But I think the fact that I was able, like I threw out that good move, and Sheik is just really busted and can throw out moves fast. So that actually Yeah, I like the way you said it.
That's the thing is like you're throwing out attacks at a very specific distance that's encouraging him to follow up with an attack of his own. And you see that at a farther range as well, where you just kind of short hop in aerials. So you're like, oh, come get me. You know what I mean? Like, these attacks aren't going to hit, but when you see it happen, it's like, okay, I'm gonna come at this guy. I'll overshoot him, whatever I got to do.
Right.
You know that's coming, so you have that second move in your mind prepared to hit him with. And maybe you're even doing it subconsciously. But anyway, there's more of this stuff happening. Let's go to the Fox set now. The next clip here, which I thought was pretty. This is a really great, like 0 to death, I think, right here.
And I was down.
Yeah, you were down too. You escaped that first drill, which I think is so huge. It sets up the first grab, and then this exchange is nuts. Like SDI again, I think. I don't know. You just missed.
I don't think he fast fell it. That's why. Yeah. So his Fox wasn't as clean as it could have been.
Right. Oh, this is beautiful. Watch the fastfall. That was so sick. That fastfall that you did, or not the fastfall. Sorry, the waveland. The late waveland where you didn't attack. You'll see it in a sec again. He was waiting for you to come down with an aerial. He was ready to drill you, and instead of doing an aerial, you air dodged into the ground for a waveland so that you could follow up. It's like a late waveland. Here, wait. That literally made him go out with a drill. He gets the.
Oh, I should have forwarded there.
Yeah, probably. That downer hit though was good. You still have him on the ropes. That right there.
Wow, that was actually really good. You're right.
Yeah, that was sick. That like
Holy
totally.
crap.
You're like, I can't throw an aerial here. I know that he wants to drill, so you air dodged right before making contact with the floor. You just displaced yourself just perfectly to follow up again, and like he completely got like.
He got really baited. He thought like I was there way closer, so he went for a drill.
And yeah. He's doing everything to escape too. Like the fact that he DI'd out of that, he like SDI'd out of your jabs too. Like you're following everything.
Yeah, holy crap. Wow, yeah, I did play pretty good there.
Yeah, and then he didn't DI the F tilt. He was totally like he was not expecting it. He just got like destroyed by that F tilt.
Yeah, I just played a lot faster than him. Like completely just outplayed him there. My gosh.
There's one moment. This is a quick moment. Tony, it's the 9 minutes to 9:07, and this is a perfect example of why Pokemon Stadium is just not good for Sheik. Look at this. And you got a little too aggressive.
I messed up and I got that tournament winner. And I'm like, oh shit.
I think you meant to go higher and farther. God. I feel like the shape of the rock intercepted your up B and it cut off the distance of the up B at a slightly shorter range. Like you could have gone farther if you watch. I don't know how it's doing slow-mo for me right now, but it's perfect. Right here, the height of the rock screwed up your up B. You would have gone farther. It might have missed the up.
Yeah.
That was super impressive. But
yeah, I think so. I think I was holding that direction, and I got hit by the second one because I was thinking I would still go farther, and I was just a lot closer than I was too. Yeah, I should have just like DI'd to the left after I saw that mistake, but I wasn't ready. Also,
it's hard to say. That's like the stadium right there. That's literally like you got destroyed by the stage.
Right, yeah, I make one mistake. I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm probably dead. I definitely remember that moment where I screwed up and got hit there. I was like, oh, wow, I'm going to die right now. And then I died.
And then this last stock is probably the best one. The crowd loved this one, too. You literally, you carry him for this entire stock here.
Oh, wow, yeah, he actually was...
He did he missed his L cancel to start, actually. He did, a late back air right before the floor. He missed L cancel. You got to grab. You'll see it again after. Nice spacing.
I wonder why he went for that drill. That's actually really bad.
Yeah, I think he was honestly nervous at the end, man. Like he was playing a little, he wasn't super confident in some of his moves. Like he did a late back air right there that you capitalized on. He didn't get the L cancel, I don't think. And then your follow-ups here, you double up smash him. Like completely punt it. Look at this. No DI.
Yeah, and then he lands on the platform.
Rolls in.
Perfect. Hit him.
Yeah. The crouch cancel, that was so solid.
I'm so glad. If I didn't get that, I would have lost the stock, actually.
Probably. Yeah. I would have carried into another move. Like he could have up tilted you or something if you had the DI wrong.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that I should have up smashed there. Like if he actually goes in and I up smash it, that'd be so hype. But then I think I was thinking about it too much. I'm like, oh shoot, it's too late. I have to just hit him with the fair again.
Oh, that was a good trade. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, man, stocks like that where you just completely clutched it out, and and then he at the end he missed his ledge dash. He seemed flustered.
Yeah, he definitely had an opportunity. I remember it got really even after I mess up on the ledge.
Yeah,
and he gets me with a good up air, and he could have 0 to death me, but he didn't. And because he did not, I killed him afterwards for that.
Yeah.
It was just like he had that one opportunity to do it and did like 0 to 50, but it's just not enough in this matchup sometimes.
Right. But yeah, man, this is the stuff I love about Melee. I got to get into Melee analysis and try to make some content on this.
You have really good analysis. Those are some of the things that I'm like, I never considered that.
What? That's nuts, dude. That's actually really flattering. Thank you, man. I need to make videos. It'll happen soon. But I love this game, and I just I'm so invested in Halo as well. And it's just another community that needs that support. Halo is much worse off than Smash right now. Smash at least has personalities who are massive, who are successful,
right,
and they hold that on their shoulders. But even Halo, like we have our Snipe Downs and Royal 2 and some of the big names, but even them, like they're struggling.
I know. So, compared to the MLG days where Smash was looking up to MLG.
I know.
And things like that. It's so different now.
Yeah.
Hopefully with Master Chief Collection.
Get that on PC and then Infinite. Infinite's got to change the game, man. We're excited about that. But yeah, man, unbelievable set. Like you made history there. And then kind of moving forward here, end of 2018, Smash Ultimate comes out. This is a massive game. As you know, it explodes on the market. Everybody's buying it. And then there's a VOD of you on the internet playing the game. You're maining Inkling. And people in the comments are calling you the Inkless Inkling. Same with the commentators there.
Oh my gosh.
Play stuff in the background. Tell me, man, what do you think of Ultimate so far? Are you enjoying the game? Are you looking to take it seriously? I know Melee is your game.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun with Ultimate when I play. I have a Switch. I was super excited to play, and like I have a capture card set up just for that. And then I never streamed it. I know. After I unlocked all the characters, I just was like, it's okay. I have fun with it, and I've only played at tournaments so far. And I thought I was using a lot of ink here because this is when I had a stream match at Full Bloom, and TK told me like, oh yeah, I should punish with jab instead of like other things. I'm like, oh okay, I'll do that. So I've only been playing like at tournaments, like a few tournament matches, and I feel like if I were to take Ultimate seriously, I think I'd do pretty well. But I just don't have as much fun with it as Melee and other games. I just think the fact that I can't whiff punish in this game because of the input lag is really not appealing.
Mm-hmm.
And just because of that, I like other games more too. Than like I've just been playing a lot more like Dota and Hearthstone, like as a casual player. I'm like, okay, I only have so much time to play a game now, and I'm having way more fun with Dota right now, especially if I could play with like a 5-man stack compared to Ultimate's online, which
no, that kills the game right there.
That really, just compared to the options I have now, and like the fact that at tournaments I really have to conserve like a lot of my energy and health because I can't really handle that as much as I want to. I have to like put Ultimate on the back burner. But I think like from here, the fact that I don't play this game at all, only at tournaments, like once a month, I think I did okay. And take it farther if I had more time.
Definitely.
Yeah. If there's a lot more people that I play with in med school and they play the game, maybe. But I just need like there has to be like a good local scene or online play, which doesn't exist. So I think the lack of good online really is a factor in me not playing as much as I would like to. I still find it really fun still.
I think it's a solid game for sure. Like I think Nintendo did a great job finding a good middle ground where it's like very approachable. It's still fun. All communities can appreciate it for what it is, but it's still not Melee. As we know, like Melee's got a lot of depth, and it's very exciting if you come from Melee.
Right. The most fun I actually had at Full Bloom this year was when I was playing my tournament matches in Ultimate, and I was playing against Melee players in Ultimate.
Oh, there you go.
And we were just talking about like. Yeah, we're talking about how fast Ganon was, and then one of them was playing Ken. And I was like having no idea what was happening.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Oh, also I just got 0 to death because Peach is like twice as fast.
Peach is nuts in this game.
Yeah. The forward air is like the same frame data as Melee, but now she can jump in the air.
Oh, she's so good. Yeah.
She can jump in the air twice as fast. I'm like, oh, I did not take that into account.
You know what's crazy about this game as well that I wish Melee had is the ability to remap your controller. That's actually kind of like revolutionary. Like
that is insane. Yeah.
If you could put jump on right trigger in Melee, you know how easy it would be to frame perfectly up like up air. If you want to up air, like
I
short
never
hop up
thought
air,
that.
frame. Oh, dude, it's nuts. If you try short hop up air with right trigger, like I play Pichu in this game, I
Yeah.
can turn around short hop up air frame perfectly with like it's just effortless. It's so easy. Like if I could do that in
Interesting.
melee, it's like that's so hard to execute in melee. If you want to go from Y or X to up on the C stick, that's so much thumb movement. Like you got to claw or do something. Like if you want to
Right, yeah.
quickly, yeah. So I mean that's me just being a nerd, but that's one
Right.
thing that I think like Ultimate did really well.
Yeah, you see me in melee sometimes. I'm on the ledge and I try to ledge hop back here and I just die because
That's tough, dude.
because I'm trying to do it as fast as I could. And Mango actually does claw for that to get it as fast as he could. You actually do
Hey.
have to change your movements to make it a
Yes.
little bit easier. And Ultimate, it has that buffer and it has that short hop command.
Well, the buffer's
things
so
like that.
easy.
Yeah, it's like it makes it more fun in a way, but then I just don't like the defensive style of Ultimate too, where like I think standing in the corner is like the best option at times because if you run in, you can't stop. It's like
You can't shield too easily either,
Right,
like right out of a
exactly.
dash.
which
Yeah.
is okay. It's just like it becomes a lot slower in some ways, but I think you can see that in melee too. When people take more patience by the corner, it helps their gameplay a lot more. It translates. Really well. And I think when people played Ultimate and switched back to melee, they got that like ledge patience a lot better, and they've been doing better in melee when you thought they would like, oh, there's no way you can like play Ultimate and then play melee. And then all the people coming back now to melee are still doing really well.
Right. Yeah. It transfers
Club,
over. Sure.
Mango, like they still doing insanely well in melee still.
Never forget. So yeah, like you weren't just at Pound for Ultimate, of course. You were competing in Melee as well, and you ended with a 9th place finish. You lost a close set to Chudat's Ice Climbers. And this is an interesting matchup. It seems like a tough one for you. We're playing it in the background as well. What is it about Sheik that makes him so bad in the Ice, or her? Is it a she? I guess that makes her so bad in the Ice Climbers matchup. And how do you feel about your Peach in the matchup alternatively?
Yeah, that's actually interesting you brought this up. This match, again, so Chudat is the one that brought me from Sheik to Peach. It was Evo 2015, and I was so close to beating him with Sheik in the 2 games that we played.
Yeah.
But his Sopo beat me, and I was just like, I can't believe I lost to Sopo at Sheik. I don't want to do this anymore. But I was actually really close.
You lost a set as Peach too, or lost a Sopo. You took a 0 to death almost on you in this set as Peach.
Oh yeah. Oh, this set I had more problems than just the playing Peach right now. I just didn't have any food and I was insanely hungry.
My
so
God.
like I just like go up to the stage and just like I can't really sit down straight. That was more my fault. Like he just beats me. This was the first game he took against my Peach as Ice Climbers in like 2 years, and it doesn't even matter that he played Fox against me. Like I knew the Fox was coming because he did it against me at Shine and did very well. But he would have just won as Ice Climbers here because I just was way too hungry and tired at that point. That's my fault for not preparing, and Chudat prepared really well.
Yeah.
He is actually the master of consistency compared to a lot of other players.
Which is great to see, considering the fact that he's definitely a veteran. Like he's around for a while. It's nice to see that he's still active and he's still taking pretty high placings with Ice Climbers, who's not as popular a character. Yes, they do have things like wobbling and stuff like that, but they struggle, at the top level of play. But yeah, so as far as the Sheik Ice Climbers matchup goes, though, you had to switch off of Sheik. What do you think about that matchup? Is it like, and I was looking up Reddit threads on this, and I mean, if you can't shield drop as Sheik, you're 100% a goner. If you can shield drop, then at least you can threaten him under the platform a little bit. But for the most part, it's just so dangerous playing against Ice Climbers. How is it for you?
Yeah, actually, for me now, I'm probably just gonna go back to Sheik Ice Climbers, and I was only losing Sheik Ices to players that were like better than me. Like I couldn't beat Nintendo, and he was ranked like 30 places higher than me at the time. Couldn't beat Chudat, and he was actually like that was like the start of his come up where he would like beat Mango and Music King. And I lost like this kid Boogie once, but he was also one of the best Ice Climbers players in the world. And that was only one set, and I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I gave up on the matchup too quickly. And even now with the wobbling ban, I don't think it matters that much. It's just like the matchup is hard because you can't make a mistake as much as Sheik compared to Peach. But I'm having a lot more fun with the matchup now compared to playing Peach because when I'm like really tired and can't play Peach as well as I want to, then I really struggle.
Right.
Compared to like me playing my main as Sheik. So I think I'm just based on me not being able to play as much as I want to and having to deal with, like, for example, this tournament match, I was like 3 hours delayed. That's like why I messed up on Yoshi's. I haven't lost a game on Yoshi's Story as Peach Ices in like 3 years since.
Wow.
So it's just like things like that where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
So
Shudat was the one, he switched me from Sheik to Peach, and I think he's gonna switch me back from Peach to Sheik in the matchup. just because like Peach is very business like character. She's like kind of slow, and Ices can camp her pretty well, even though they lose still. It's just like I don't want to play that way against these ice climbers now because like I played against Boyd that day earlier, and he's a very good player. He's won tournaments in the Midwest a lot, and he started camping me on the top platform. I'm like, I know this doesn't work, and then I just like beat him really hard game 3 once I figured it out.
Right.
Like I just don't want to do that again. So I think I'd just rather play Sheik and get it over with these days.
Kind of outspeed the guy too. She's way faster.
Right. Yeah, I'm just thinking, okay, if I were to play like solitaire by myself, I want to do it like more of a fun style by myself.
Okay.
And I have more fun playing solo with Sheik than with Peach these days.
Right.
So I think I'm just gonna go back to it, especially since at locals I play Sheik Ices now a lot more too.
And I mean, on top of that, you had mentioned the fact that wobbling's getting banned. So for those of you who don't already know, Gommel's coming up. This is the first major event to actually have a ban on wobbling. You'll be at Gommel as well. So what do you think of that? What do you think of wobbling, I guess, in general? And then that would definitely incentivize switching back to Sheik. You got another reason. You got some more firepower that you don't have to worry about the wobble.
Yeah, I think the wobbling ban, I like the fact that we're trying to change rule sets more so than the fact that wobbling itself is banned.
Interesting. So just updating things.
Right. I like the fact that we're updating things more so. In the matchup for Sheik, she gets chain grabbed by Sopo, so I'm gonna die anyway by a grab.
Right.
It's actually just a 0 to death no matter what.
Oh my God, seriously.
Or like at least like 80%, whatever.
Or you have handoffs.
I think handoffs are also just like that good too. Yeah. And I think Sopo is not as bad as people think. I think a solid mid.
Depending on the matchup, maybe.
Right. I mean, obviously he's not one of the best.
It's like one shine will completely destroy that, like from Fox. Yeah. He goes flying. Yeah.
Anyway. But Sopo is fast, and as Shuda has shown too.
Right.
Like, you can, and Bananas and everyone like
good DI. You can survive pretty long.
Yeah, you have fast moves. Like Sopo is a good character. He has a hammer. Like not many characters have hammers.
Sure.
I like the fact that Gommel is doing a rule set change more so, and I heard about this. And I was just thinking too about like how people claiming for a wobbling ban after Ultimate came out, like it's for viewership, and then people are talking about ledge grab limit for Puff and things like that, stalling updates. I like welcome all those changes. I don't care about if it's like necessarily a change for good. I think it should just be more updated, and especially after the Esports Insider event where there was a panel with Steve, our headset of Liquid, and the Team Vitality CEO, and then the EA Esports and Riot, Chris Hopper, talking about just rules in esports in general and working with developers. And we don't have that, obviously, as Smash. Developers talk to esports leagues. But in every other esport, except for Smash, they like constantly update their game. And that's just like the ecosystem now these days. And I think we should like welcome that. Like we can't stagnate as a game. Like there's reason why like attendance drops sometimes. For tournaments. And if we look at like 2018, the only tournament that like went up in attendee count was like Smash and Splash, because they have that novelty and brand of being at a water park. So like you can't say that Melee and Smash was dying last year, and then like Ultimate is shot up like extremely, like way more than people thought, and then going down now, of course, because like new game hype is dying down. But all that interest is still there, and I think I welcome this like ledge grab limit discussion. I welcome the wobbling ban. Even like if people think like it's like not in fairness of the game because it exists, but like developers do this all the time, and they even do like arbitrary fines. Like League of Legends, they have creep blocking in the game, but then you do it in a tournament match, you get fined like $5,000 just because they say it's a bug, you can't do it.
Wow,
do this.
I didn't know that.
I'm not. I think I made that fine amount because I don't remember.
Oh, okay. $5,000 for it.
I think it is like an actual pretty big deal. I actually want to look at this.
I mean, heck. But yeah, like that's
But yeah, they actually make like arbitrary rules and fine people for this, like, hey, we don't think this should be in the game type deal. And these are like actual heads of like leagues, $1 billion franchises saying this. Like, no, we don't want this.
I like your mindset towards it, though, is like not, I mean, yes, you want to know what the change is and you want to make sure you're making the right changes to the game. But I think this idea of accepting change is so important and so good for the community to kind of wrap their heads around. It's just people are talking about something new, something like that one little thing can affect, matchups and how the game plays and how people experience the game, whatever it is. And I think that idea of change is important for the growth and the continuation of the community. Just something else to look forward to, something to keep tabs on. Like when we had updates. What do we have after Arduino? We had the
oh, right.
What's it called?
Like UCF in general.
UCF. There you go. And is that still happening? UCF?
Yeah, and it's been like so widely accepted. People
right
are just
there.
Like,
you go.
They just like, is this tournament is not UCF now? Like before, it was a controversy of whether or not it should be, and now it's only like 3 tournaments that use Arduinos. But that was because of the UCF debate, and just like things like that, we should embrace more as Smash and fighting game community in general.
Yeah.
Like we have this creativity that we're just like pushing down because like some people are like conservative and don't want to take risks.
Sure.
But I think like because we don't have like a parent company telling us what to do, we should like explore those risks more. And I mean, we have so many like cool resources now that we didn't have. Again, like UCF, like I just had way more fun playing with. Like,
you can hit all your shield drops in your dash bags.
Yeah, like just as a casual.
It's nice. It feels good.
Just like being brainless. Yeah, it feels good.
It upgrades just like the skill ceiling of Melee. Like everybody's playing on a higher level. Like the possibilities are pretty intense. Like pretty insane.
Right. And I think we're ignoring the casual aspect a little bit too much. We're always talking about like top competitive form. Like, oh yeah, we shouldn't be limiting the potential of like, for example, Ice Climbers or Puff if they were to argue against the ban.
Right.
But either part of the ledge grab limit and Puff stalling is more of like also because of what's it called? It's like it's not clear about what the rule set actually is.
The limit for the ledge grab is tough because anything that forces you to think about something extra, like how many times am I grabbing the ledge? Like how do you keep track of it?
Right.
How does the player keep track of it? Does it affect their ability to focus on the game? Like there's so many issues that can come from that. But I like the start of the discussion from there and thinking of how you can probably ban certain aspects that works. Like I know Leffen kind of raised this discussion on his YouTube channel and he had some ideas. But just in general, the conversation I think is a good one to have.
Right. And just stalling in general because it's not defined. It just said stalling is banned and like rising pound is banned. But then it's just like it happens in a match and they do it for a few seconds. Is that considered stalling in that case?
Yeah, right.
And the fact that it's up to
traveling in basketball or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened at Full Bloom. They're like, oh, we reviewed it and we didn't see it as a ban. Like it's like no, the match stands as it is. It's just like yeah, exactly. It's like a referee thing like in basketball. Like it's kind of like when that happens, it just sucks. We don't want it to have to end like that every single time the controversy comes up. And even in a sport like that, people hate it. So like, we should just have a defined limit, in my opinion, of like what it considers banning or not. But also just to experiment with rule sets too. I think it'll be a good thing for the scene.
Definitely. Now, before we switch off here, the last thing I wanted to talk about was that you had a tweet that suggested you might own a box. You called it the Box 5.0. What is the Box 5? This is the box. By the way, Tony, we're not going to actually talk about the box because I found out the Box 5.0 is something else. He takes it off. What do you got there?
Oh, yeah. So actually, I said it was 0.5.
Sorry, 0.5. My bad.
0.5 because it's not really a box. So I have this lap desk right here. I can show it. And it opens up.
You're playing with that in Pound as well.
Yeah, you saw in the Pound. It just opens up and there's nothing. There's no wires or anything. But it's for my support for my forearms and elbows. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that I've been having upper body issues since like 2016 when I started playing a lot. Again, back to like, oh yeah, I'm going to travel to more tournaments and play on my own. When I started getting good. And that's when like my hand pain first started. Like I remember one day I was at work. I worked in the lab and I do this pipette motion all the time.
Okay.
And then one time it just cramped up really hard. I'm like, wow, I can't actually move my arm and I can't make a fist. So it's been like that for so long. And
where's the pain?
Since for me, so I have it in my left hand. I've had it everywhere
It's
so
the
far.
left hand
but,
is so rough, just because it's the left trigger you press. I'm assuming you left trigger dodge and wave dash and everything, right?
Right. I
It's
use
the
L a lot,
constant, yeah, and the dash dancing.
and then
So
dash.
much action going
Right.
on your finger and your thumb. Yeah.
Right. So my problem isn't actually my thumb, but it's more like the pinky and ring finger, and
Yes!
it goes down.
Yes.
And my forearm hurts, and then I found out my elbow was like burning a lot too. This was last fall, and I talked to Sleepy K about it. Like I had signs of cubital tunnel syndrome, just because like
Carpal
and
tunnel?
also cubital. It's the other
Cubital.
side. So carpal is like
Oh my
more
God,
of the wrist.
what the heck is cubital?
It's in the yeah.
How do I spell that?
Cubital. And it's also
Cubital
related to
tunnel.
like
What the
tennis elbow and golfer's elbow too.
Oh, this is probably what I
Because
have.
yeah, you might have like beginnings of it, and it's a lot more common than people think. It's like the second most common compared to
I
carpal.
just deal with it, which is bad, but yeah. Sorry.
And it's like if you have the forearm pain, it's gonna like tighten up your elbow too, and that's where your nerve runs down.
It goes into my tricep. Do you get that?
So apparently I went to a PT after Genesis because it just like even with my fixing of like elbow braces and making sure my arm was straight with the cubital tunnel, I saw problems. And a lot of my problems were actually like starting from like my back and shoulder area and just upper body. It's just like the entire thing is like because my posture is bad and I did way too many push-ups compared to other.
Yes, a lack of back exercise. You got to open up the chest and straighten out.
Yeah,
this is
my
all
chest
what I'm.
was too tight.
Yes.
Things like that. That just like led to so many problems with my arm, especially like playing Smash for so long for so many years. And the fact that like I put my elbows down and like rest on those, and it's like all of that leads to like really bad problems in the end. And a lot of like the computer players, other esports players don't get it because of course they use keyboard mouse, and they might get like tired from carpal tunnel pain, sort of like it, but they don't actually get carpal tunnel. It's a lot harder than people think to get carpal tunnel, from what I've heard.
Interesting.
But it's really easy to get wrist pain from just like not having wrist support and just having the mouse and your wrist on the desk for so long. So it's more just like overuse pain than anything else.
Right. Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm playing on this this lap desk, the box 0.5. Just because Hacks made a joke about that. We sat down together and he has his box. I have the lap desk
yeah.
on it. Like, yo, that's a cool box you have. And it's been helping a lot with my forearm pain, but I've been like leaning into it too much and it's giving me like chest
different
pains.
Too.
Yeah, so it's just like I just have to like figure out the best
posture. You gotta work out, man.
I have to work out a lot more too. Yeah,
That's the thing. You got to do a lot of back workouts, and then you got to stretch your chest. You got to where you got your arm raised up on a wall, and you massage into the chest. Because I have like a shoulder impingement or something. Like, these are all like, from bad posture, from playing games too long, and you have to basically counteract it. And like with open hand stretches, you get like an elastic band, and you do like this constantly.
Oh yeah, I have a bunch of.
Dude,
I have
this
like
is literally
I have therapy putty right here. Like
This is how I survive, man, because I jump off Halo and then I grind tech skill. And like, I'm not even a pro player, but I just love grinding tech skill. Like, that's how I'm so invested in all the technical stuff. But yeah, it screws up your hands, and you got to counteract it with fitness, with stretching. It's tough.
Right. Yeah. I definitely just have to like actually just get back into weightlifting. Yeah. And like my senior year of college, I stopped weightlifting compared to the other years too.
Right.
So it was all just like that built up. And the fact that I travel so much and didn't sleep as well as I could have. It's just like it's all these little things that add up together, and just like playing for it throughout the entire day, more so than anything else. Like I'll be so good for like a few hours of the day, and then I have to play a match like later on the night and just like collapses. I'm like, I don't know why that happened. And then it's just all because of like my physical pains, and like that's what happened at Summit too. And I was just like, wow, I really can't move as well as I thought. And that's when I didn't realize I had numbness instead of like actual pain. So yeah, it's just like there's so many things that could happen.
This goes numb, right? This all goes numb.
Yeah, that's why it went numb for me during
that's
Summit.
That's happened to me too. Yeah.
Oh man, that sucks. It definitely is not fun to have, especially since I didn't know what happened. I haven't had it
since I was 24, but yeah, it's happened to me. I know what it's like.
I was just like, I can't like lift things really well.
You open a fridge door, you brush your teeth, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? Like, there's pain here.
I was like, oh, I'm a righty anyway. Like, I'm gonna have a weaker left hand, right? That's what I was thinking, and then
right.
Apparently not supposed to be like that.
Melee is just brutal on the left side, dude. It's the combo of the dash dancing and the L cancel, the gripping, and it's nuts. Yeah, it's
all
but,
those things.
I'm glad that you're taking some measures to try to counteract it. I hope that means that you're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. What can we expect from you? You're sponsored with OG Esports. How's that going? What can we expect from you in the coming months?
Oh yeah. So for me, my thing with OG is ending soon. We'll be parting ways. We still haven't had the announcement yet, but they're okay with that because like, oh yeah, take your time. They've been really good to me in terms of just like being flexible and all that.
Right.
So but I'll be going to school in a few months. I'm going to med school actually. I decided then like, oh, you know what? I actually do want to go to med school. So that was like my period of time in between college and now. It's been a few years since then, and I love playing Smash. It's just super hard too. It's just like I miss doing a lot of other things too. But I'm like all the experiences I've gained from Smash the last few years, I'm gonna definitely bring that for like the entire rest of my life. It's just such an amazing experience being in esports and Smash in general.
Yeah.
Like being part of this like shows like these, it's been awesome, and going to tournaments especially where I got to meet all these people. It's just like experiences I wouldn't have otherwise. And I'll still like try my best to go to tournaments. I think one of the problems again that we don't have in Smash is because we're grassroots, we don't have like an organized circuit.
Right.
And people have talked about that, and I don't think we'll ever get an official circuit. I think that's okay, but as long as we just had like more organization between the tournaments together, and again like keeping everything fresh with rule sets and gameplay wise, tournament factors too. Like I miss events like the Red Bull Gods and Gatekeepers where
that was cool.
Like it wasn't a standard tournament, but everyone still loved it. It's because it wasn't a standard tournament.
It was like the Five Gods or whatever. They had like there was a Five
I think
Gods.
Five
I don't know if that
Gods,
was Red Bull.
That was South by Southwest. They hosted it.
Okay.
And I think Five Gods event was like one of the best events. To, like,
was really cool.
Happen.
Yeah.
Structure and how popular it was. If we had events like that, it would be a lot better. And I talked to people at the ESI event I went to and talked to Cody, and we talked about another esport that's similar to us, which we don't even think of in terms of structure. It's like Counter-Strike. And Counter-Strike, even though it's a Valve game, they have majors and things like that. It's still really independent. They don't have like Valve support of a major structure compared to Dota. And as Counter-Strike, sure they have majors with like break like million views and stuff like that and these prize pots. But one of the problems happened this last fall where we had a problem with two tournaments of happening the same weekend that were huge. They were both supposed to be important. This was ESL 1 in New York. I went to one in 2016, and that's actually, it was an awesome event. It was packed full at Barclays Center. They had like a Street Fighter tournament going on for grand finals also.
Right.
They inserted something there, so it had FGC element, but it was full and packed and everything. And then I don't remember what happened this year, but it fell on the same event as something else in, I want to say, for some reason, Katowice is getting in my head, even though I don't know if that's the same event, but in Europe, I think it was IEM, that happened the same day as ESL, and all the big teams went there instead, and ESL in Brooklyn was just so empty.
Massive venue, empty.
It was like basically empty. Like I don't know who went.
Oversaturation of events from Counter-Strike is actually one of their issues. They've got too much going on.
Yeah,
I've had that in the past. Yeah.
And then you blow like millions of dollars in an event because you thought it would be good, and then something happened last minute, and then of course like the European teams are going to stay closer to Europe where they have a lot more support in the game. But that's like gonna happen with Smash if we continue at this pace too. And we've had problems with like DreamHacks and Smash and Splash even being on the same day.
Interesting.
Like, what's gonna happen?
Who's gonna go where? What does that mean for viewers?
And this happens again, like at least Smash and Splash and DreamHack, Texas, Dallas, Austin have been able to be successful. Like coincidentally, they've been successful together. But that doesn't always happen with Smash events, and a lot of them really outcompete with each other. So I don't want to get to a point where in Counter-Strike, like Smash is like Counter-Strike, where we actually have like millions of dollars to spend.
I don't know. It sounds like a good problem to have, though. If we get far,
it is a good thing to have, but because we have an individual system, like we don't have an ESL backing us, but let's say an individual just loses that much money, it's just gonna really suck for our scene compared to them when they have so much more support.
Right.
And it's like it's hard to like it's a good problem to have at that point compared to, but in terms of like the actual philosophy behind it,
sure,
it's still really, really bad. And
Yeah.
I'm sure like whoever was in charge of ESL1 New York this year just got like is not really happy about it at all.
Yeah. A lot of hurdles to cross just being a grassroots community, trying to organize all of these things and have the most successful results. So
we have so much going on in Smash. We have so much like potential in the FGC.
Different games too, and multiple communities
that we can take advantage of, like how different we are. But we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you a part of it, man. Even though you're not necessarily going to be as, I guess, dedicated to competition as you have been in the past. You've got so much going on, but it's nice to see that you're still part of the scene. It's nice to see that you found alternative ways to play. You got your own box too, which is cool. Great discussion, man. Thank you so much for joining me. And where can we find you? All the different social media pages. I know you were, I think, hosting it on your Twitch, but you don't really stream too much. What's going on there? YouTube as well. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Twitch and YouTube has been really hard to keep up since I got back from Summit and like started hanging out with a lot more people at home. Just before I go to school, I had to change my entire life around.
Right.
And I'm mainly active on Twitter still, and that's at SSB_Swedish.
You can see a girl version of yourself on Twitter if you guys go check his page right now.
Everyone was the girl. I actually love that everyone was so into the
stupid Snapchat filter, dude. Oh my god!
I thought it was so good for the one day, and now it's just like I'm so glad that happened. We can't like at least no one has been like posting it more. And it's been let's not have that ever again type deal. It's good for one day. I'm mainly active on Twitter, and then I do plan on streaming more often, especially. It's funny, like once I get into school and settle down, I'll have more time to stream, which is actually funny. But my Twitch is twitch.tv/Swedish_D. So I'm going to try to move over to Swedish_D for a lot of things. But Twitter, a lot of the names are taken.
Fair enough. Well, good to see you back streaming. And man, once again, thank you for joining me, and looking forward to seeing what comes at GOML and the future beyond.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, I'll be at GOML. I'm going to the Mango also. And,
the Mango. You're the Mango champion as well. We didn't talk about
the
first Mango.
The Mango champion. That's definitely going to be like my
coming back to get the title back. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I tried in the second time, but it was hard. I took left in an SVAT to game 5, so I wasn't mad about that. I was playing pretty well that weekend, and then we'll see if I could return and get it for this year.
Sounds good, man. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks so much.
No problem. All right, that closes Smash, Talkin' Smash. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Long episode today. Great discussion with Swedish Delight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. The VOD for this will be up on YouTube, so you can listen to that on YouTube as well. We'll be posting about it on Twitter. But thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned. We got more Smash interviews, more personalities coming up in the weeks to come.